What's going on, everybody? This is an episode from the No Gimmicks Needed Wrestling podcast. Do you like podcasts and you want to see the full podcast? Make sure you check out the No Gimmicks Needed Wrestling podcast on all your podcast platforms, such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, among many others. But you're listening to the episode right here on YouTube, so make sure you hit that like button and below, and make sure you hit the subscribe button to NC Studios and NC Level Up for all your gaming needs. This is the Nerd Coalition. Enjoy the show. So, as WrestleMania was going on, so that we was getting news, and Prime Time, like I said, shout out to him for yesterday during the live stream, was like, hey, yo, they about to sell. And I was like,
that's crazy.
What you talking about?
I feel like it would make a bigger splash than this.
Yeah, well, but because I think people don't really know how to process this, for the most part. So we got the news that Endeavor's.
Hold on, real quick before I say that. Tell them what you told me.
I'm trying. I tell you a lot of things. So I'm trying to think which one.
You was like, it's huge. I was like, for who?
Oh, yeah. That's right. I did say, I was like, this one gonna be huge. He said for who? I said, look, huge don't always mean a good thing. But that's still big news.
Huge in all capital letters. Like, I'm supposed to be excited. He was like,
no, excited.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean now. But when you put it, I was like, are we talking about the same thing?
This the Hollywood Reporter, has the headline: Endeavor's UFC and WWE to merge. Ariel Emanuel to serve as CEO. Vince McMahon as a exclusive chair. This right here,
executive chair. Is that what that says?
It does.
Yep.
Okay.
So
he got what he wanted.
He did.
Unfortunately, yeah. Endeavor will hold a 51% controlling interest in the new company, with existing WWE shareholders owning a 49% interest. So now it's going to be with these two big companies. They're going to be working under this one big new $21 billion juggernaut company that they're creating.
No, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Where it looks like Vince is going to keep his job over there, and Dana White is going to keep his job over in UFC.
Yep.
What is kind of and also we're hearing the reports. WWE executive chairman and majority shareholder Vince McMahon will serve as executive chairman of the newly created firm, while Mark Shapiro, is that what this is? Will be president and chief operating officer of both Endeavor and the new company. Dana White will continue in his role as president of UFC, and WWE CEO Nick Khan holding the same president title for WWE.
I hope somebody checked Triple H's pacemaker.
That's not right. But
I'm not saying it'd be funny. Y'all trying to send that man somewhere to an early grave.
They did say that Triple H and Nick Khan both get $5+ million bonuses
because they about to fire that man.
Here's
Yep.
So you know what's funny? It'll be real talk. It's not funny. On CNBC, Vince just did an interview like today.
Yeah, I saw when he looking crazy. Somebody's like, did he dye his eyebrows? My God. I said, y'all, please. He looked like a supervillain.
He is on there, and they asked, they talked about the elephant in the room, and they said, will he be a part of the creative team? That's what they asked him.
He been in this business long enough to swerve that question.
Yeah, I'm about to say, it just like people, y'all really don't understand, like Vince. So, Vince McMahon, he said that he would be involved in the WWE creative on a quotations higher level, but won't be in the weeds with it anymore.
The lies, okay.
So, this.
Yes.
Sal Massa found an interview, right? Because I'll be following him, and he was just like, these are the exact words that he used when he appointed Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff to run Raw and SmackDown. Do you remember how that went? Do y'all remember how that went? When Eric Bischoff never even made the SmackDown, okay?
He surely didn't. That man packed his car up, drove his dog across the country, and by the time he got there, it was over.
Yeah. Dead serious. Don't worry, I'm keeping an eye on the time. So, I want to get your thoughts because, first of all, right now, it's kind of hard to process this because I've heard some opinions of people saying that I'm surprised that this real sport type of organization would go in the interest of WWE.
You mean the real sport that now has a show called Power Slap, where they live the surreal life and slap each other?
I'm going with some of the opinions that somebody said.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes, I'm not saying that. Yeah, I have watched it actually.
We both watched it, but still.
Yeah. No,
it's giving sports entertainment vibes.
Yeah. But I don't know what good this is going to come. Because first of all, right now we have to understand that the WWE is not owned by the McMahons anymore, which is something crazy to even think about. And we never thought we would see a day like this. Not even in my lifetime. Because honestly, you would have thought it was going to be passed down to Shane or even Triple H and Steph. And keep it in the family.
I'm going to say this because I don't want to be I told you so, but when all of this started happening, I was like, they're going to sell. And everybody was like, they're not going to sell. The McMahons will never sell. Vince McMahon is petty enough to take his ball and go home, okay? He took his ball and he went home. I could totally see him being the kind of person that was just like, well, if I can't have it, nobody can.
So, I'm going to go around and ask y'all. Quattro, I'll start with you.
Wait. Let me get my 2 cents off.
Okay.
Let me get my 2 cents off. I don't think this benefits anybody who works for the WWE. However, I can see how this would benefit like UFC fighters because them folks is underpaid and they really killing each other in the ring. So the least they could do, because there's a lot of UFC fighters who that's their second job. Like they got second job as like teachers and club bouncers and whatnot. Yeah. So I can see them. Huh? No, let me rephrase that. If you're not a Conor McGregor, John Jones type of person, you're not getting paid that much in UFC. So you got to get a second job if you're not a champion or a superstar. So I can see UFC fighters getting a bigger pay bonus, but that's about it. All right,
look at the influencer Keith Lee, the one who reviews food. He was a professional fighter for 8 years. And that was never seemingly his primary source of income. It's like, why y'all paying these guys peanuts to go in there and break their body down? I mean, I'm not going to pretend like Vince McMahon gives a shit about his wrestlers for real. So this doesn't surprise me one bit. Vince McMahon going to look out for Vince McMahon. And that's it.
How about you, Quattro?
It's honestly fearful right now because there's a lot of worry. You worry if we're going to have the same type of content. You worry if we're going back to paying for premium live events every month. Like, cause look, I don't got 64. Let me be honest with you.
Exactly, because I'm not spending $60 for no battleground.
They gonna find out.
Listen, I bootleg UFC fights all the time. I'll bootleg WrestleMania again.
Look, that's what's going to happen. That's the future.
I mean, not next year because we'll be there, but like after that, I'm bootlegging.
Yeah, like you worry if the talent is going to get the same type of move that you get, because if you got all this UFC people, that sounds like a lot more specialty matches from other people that's taking spots from other wrestlers that has put in a certain amount of time. Things we've seen before. It's a very frightening idea in the long run.
How about you, Pine?
I do have a question about this.
Okay.
If they're gonna merge it, right? Are they still gonna keep WWE and UFC? Or are they gonna try to merge it into one thing and then they just do different things?
No. So,
from what I heard, it's two separate entities. They're just owned by the same person.
Yes.
That's what it sounds like.
Ring of Honor and AEW.
So no. Well, who are they owned under?
Tony Khan.
Yeah, the Khan family.
I was going to say it's probably more like WB and Discovery and HBO.
That's a horrible merger then.
I'm just saying to give you an idea of these we are the parent company, but we own these two separate things. Where there be overlap between the two of them.
It could be like Disney, how Disney got Fox and ESPN.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It would be like that.
Yeah.
You know,
same
you
thing.
bringing that up.
Matter of fact, Disney probably owned Endeavor.
At this point, they own everything, so maybe.
Mhm.
But
I'm just saying, I'm just saying, what is it about Endeavor that they actually sold to them instead of like Disney or somebody else who can make your company get you billions of dollars?
I think I'm gonna put my little foil hat on, but I'm just saying, I truly believe, because like I said, this story just came out today. We were still doing the podcast, so we talk about it. There's gonna be more details throughout the week as this stuff comes on. So I will make sure we get a note of that. But what I also think is happening is that, see, now if Vince can't have his way in his company, if he is on his employee, he can just take his money, retire,
And
but
go.
and they gotta listen to what they say, because once again, that could be if they don't want them to do Saudi Arabia shows no more, they gotta listen to that.
Mm-hmm.
If there's certain content that they want on their show and they don't want, they gotta listen to that.
I wonder how that's going to work out, though, because aren't they still under contract with the Saudis?
Yeah, but see, once again, I don't know.
Because all that
You know
stuff
what
gets
I
written into your contract when they do, like, acquisitions. Because at this point, it is a merger, I guess, but technically, not really.
Yeah, and along that lines, what I think will happen is like, oh, you're going to finish out the contracts you have, and then we got you. Same way, like, you got Peacock till 2026. That's cool. We'll see what happened after that. Oh, you got this Saudi for the time you got it. Okay. As soon as that's done, that's changed. Oh, y'all got this deal with Fox? We'll ride that out until that's done. But once that's done, that might all be over.
They can, if they had the money, they can buy it out, because this is isn't this $1 billion?
They just spent $9 billion for WWE. That was Vince's asking price.
So I doubt they're going to buy out the stuff. I mean, I'm sure they would love to get rid of it, because they apparently already had issues. Like USA and Fox both were having issues with the product and the ratings and people, and certain people that Fox didn't want on their network and USA went. It was a whole bunch of back and forth. I have a feeling. I would not be. Well, I can't say I have a feeling. I would not be surprised if when all of these agreements are done, it's a totally different thing. They probably come up with their own streaming type of deal, kind of like a Fight TV type of thing. Yeah. Where instead of everything being on Peacock, it'll be on Fight TV, and you got to pay per event, or you'll not necessarily. You know what I mean. And they may acquire a new media deals with other companies, or they could even at this point just create their own damn channel.
First of all, what is Endeavor? Like, how do they get $9 billion? First of all,
let's look up Endeavor.
Right. I don't know what Endeavor is. I put that in the same category as somebody like Mr. Beast. I don't know how you rich. I just know you are.
Well,
Endeavor
if they already had UFC, I mean, UFC generates a lot of money depending on, who's like that John Jones coming back generated a shit ton of money. So I can imagine, Endeavor is good for that. But I don't know. I'm just as foolish as you guys.
Okay, so what you said this?
So Endeavor is actually a talent agency. That's what they started as. And then they merged with someone, like with another company. But it looks like, this is according to Wikipedia, so take it with a grain of salt. They represent artists in film, television, music, theater, digital media, and publishing, the NFL and the NHL. So they're a huge, basically a huge media company.
Okay.
So, and they've already purchased other things. Like, this is not it seems like they just go around and they buy up stuff.
Oh, they trying to have the Endeavor universe then.
And that's what it sounds like. Like, they purchased the Miss Universe pageant. And so, those are things that are big money makers. One, you only got to produce one time a year kind of thing. Excuse me. So and they bought UFC.
Did they buy the BET Awards?
At this point, I don't know, because who owns BET? It ain't black people.
No, it ain't.
So yeah, I'm just trying to go through their page to see what exactly they do. It sounds like they were just a talent agency that morphed into something much larger.
So, this right here, like I'm going to echo what Quattro said, because you know, as much jokes as we got and stuff like that, this is a real scary thing, especially as a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
And I don't know what this kind of merge could be, because once again, you have to understand that certain people, like the real point about selling the company, which I do think that a lot of people within the circle did not want to sell the company, because you got to understand something. Wrestling is a hard sell to some people, and that was one of the biggest problems in WCW. They kept bringing in all these people who knew nothing about the wrestling business.
Okay. No, I'm just going through the page. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off or anything. But because everybody's like, well, how did Endeavor get into the arena here? So apparently Endeavor's, like, I guess their streaming arm have been providing back-end service for WWE's streaming platform since 2019. So they've been playing in the background.
Okay. You never see the background.
So it's like, oh, they probably been here planting the seeds ever since, you know, they were sold off to
during
Peacock.
The app, isn't it?
What happened?
Was that during the WWE app?
Yeah, it says when they had the network. I'm guessing that probably on the tail end of when the network existed, they were providing a service to them. Maybe it was a thing where it's like, well, we're about to be acquired by Peacock. How everybody assumed that the Saudis had in first place or something like that.
Yeah.
Could have been something that was worked into it, where it was like, if we're going to lose all this money by providing you a service for the network, we want to be first in line when you decide to sell. Because I guarantee you, if this went through just as fast like we heard about it, this has been in the works for years.
Hey, look, I'm glad Saudi Arabia ain't get it. I don't care, man.
I think a lot of people are.
I'm gonna be honest.
Hogan as the champion, all 4 belts. Like, oh my lord, I'm good.
You know what? It's not that I don't think you're wrong, but this could be a W no versus a W don't situation too.
Absolutely.
But to be honest, also it's like selling. Period. I don't think, you don't really appreciate something, or you really don't see the optics of something until you start saying changes. You're like, hey, was that part of this, or was that part of this? It's kind of like, when in Congress, when they sign new bills that look good or sound bad, and then you don't really get the effects of it until like later on. You're like, wait, that was part of it, and you don't really get to see that kind of stuff. And I think that's what's going to happen here, and that's what I'm fearful when it comes to the networking, when it comes to how we watch our pay-per-views, how we're going to view our shows. Maybe, you never know. Maybe it's like, hey, I don't want Smackdown on Fridays. Why don't we put Smackdown on like a weekend? Or why don't we do something like something that's, more sports-based related type thing? You know what I'm saying? Who knows? We don't know. How is this going to affect merchandise? How is this going to affect video games? How is this going to affect anything that comes with the whole marketing of how WWE is looked and is presented? You know what? An
example of that, I remember when Raw went to TNN. Yeah. My cable company didn't cover TNN, so I couldn't watch Raw.
Yeah, that could be, a lot. You just never know. I just say, paying for the premium live events is going to be a killer.
That's a no-go.
Yeah.
People are not going to do that.
Miss A&E, like you, like I'm hearing you saying all this, and once again, it's like the only people I see benefiting from this is UFC, because their games could use 2K, you know what I mean, to make them better. Like their games suck most of the time, and could use 2K's help to make it better.
4 wasn't that bad.
They could probably, 4 wasn't that bad, but I mean, it ain't like they 4 games in. It's probably like their 10th game.
Yeah.
So like, you know what I mean, and like. They I could see them performing in bigger arenas. I only see UFC benefiting from this once again. Like this is nuts.
I'm also wondering, because could it work in the other direction though, where the UFC remain, they get the treatment they get and then the WWE stars start to suffer in the same vein. Will we see them knock down the smaller contracts? Because think about the roster of UFC fighters versus the roster of WWE.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Even with it being pared down, because again,
you right.
Like we all said when it happened, it was like, this is probably preemptive of something else. He's not cutting the fat for no reason. I know part of it was probably because of their lawsuit.
Yeah.
But they probably started cutting the fat because he wanted to be like, okay, well, this is the roster we have. This is what y'all have to take on, kind of thing. And Triple H brought some of them folks back. So what happens?
A lot back.
Do people get fired again? Do people, when they go in to renegotiate their contract, do they get shafted? Do they, because there are some stars, the bigger name stars, they do get their travel and things taken care of and stuff like that. And still don't get no damn health insurance, but it's another animal for another day. Mm-hmm. Do they lose those benefits? What happens? And everybody can't go to AEW. Tony Khan can't.
That's true.
So what happens? Do some people just take the pay cut because they don't really have nowhere else to go? Do people just go in and wrestle unhappy? And also, I'm wondering now, when everybody was giving Sasha and all of them shit, I'm wondering if they knew stuff that we ain't know. If there was writing on the wall.
It's possible that Sasha and Naomi could know some things that we didn't know.
But not even just them. Like, just the fact of, we see what's finna happen here. Mm-hmm. Okay. Are y'all going to treat us the same? Were y'all giving her shit because her contract was going to be up soon and they was like, we not paying you as much? Whatever. I don't know. We can't assume. But I kind of feel like there may have been grumblings long before we even knew for sure something was happening. And people are not going to want to stick around for that. Because what was that tweet that Bailey sent out yesterday? Where she was just like, sometimes, what did she say? Fairy tales or something have to come to an end or something along those lines. And I'm like, did y'all know? Have y'all heard things?
Because at first,
I thought Oscar went on a rant too.
I don't know if that was really Oscar.
Work or not. Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know if that was a work or not, but like I've been seeing random rants out of nowhere after Mania, so.
Like when she ran because she lost a match, because that could just be character.
Again, now
I didn't see any rants, so I was asking.
I saw that and I was like, is this really her? Like, did she really tweet this?
Does anybody got any understanding of or pulled up? I'm sitting right here with a computer, but I'm just saying.
I'm gonna look and see if this is really, she really tweeted something that she.
Okay, well, I mean, because
I don't see anything. Because the thing that struck me as odd with that is, she usually tweets in her native language. Why would she have a completely 100% all in English and it's like a rant?
English.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
right.
this. I think this might have really been. It might have been her. I don't know.
You're right, 100%. Because me over here rereading that tweet, it don't sound like her. No. It sound too put together. I don't mean that wrong anyway. I hope people understand what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but it doesn't sound nothing in comparison to how she normally posts.
So what did quite a few about me asking? What did the tweet say?
Okay, so what was retweeted? It looks like it was it Naomi who tweeted this? No, this is not a real page.
I'm about to say, what the hell happened?
Somebody tweeted something. Asuka leaves WrestleMania 39 losing again. She's now 0-5 at WrestleMania. Oh, it's a fan page. WWE continues to make her lose her biggest match and elevate her character just to push her back down the card. She deserves better, maybe a return back to Japan. So then there's a tweet that was retweeted on top of that. Says, I might as well go back to Japan, but I bet a lot of you guys, my friends, will miss me when I leave WWE, ? Now, I need the power of your anger. Let's bring chaos to the boring women's division with me. Poop emoji. let's bring chaos to the women's division. Let's bring chaos to the WWE. I don't know. Like, did she really tweet that?
I don't know. That doesn't sound like her. But
same. But I don't know.
There could be things going on backstage. Because, like I said, we're not in this business. That's number one. We're not in the business of like Endeavor doing these big business things.
Who let Nia Jax back there? I'm sorry.
Oh,
sorry.
She about to debut. Don't worry about that.
Oh God, no.
And we can say talk and give our opinions, but in reality, everybody, we don't know any of this stuff. We're not in the inner workings, and we don't work backstage, see any of the writers on the wall. It could be a thing where it's like people are frustrated and they want to go, but they know where to go. Yeah. Because right now you need this is at the end of the day a job. Hey, you're going to need a job. So, but that point you brought about UFC and how it could when it comes to like pay cutting and doing all that kind of stuff like that, and if you got $1 billion company like WWE who makes money hand over fist, they could probably look at it and seem like, well, shit, why is everybody getting these events for free? Why don't they just pay for them?
Absolutely. Why don't they pay for them? Why are we paying somebody $1 million a year and handling their travel and their hotel and all of that?
Yeah.
Why are we doing all of these things for them? Mergers hardly ever. Somebody loses in a merger, and sometimes both sides lose in a merger. Because at my last job that happened, and it ended up being trash for both sides. The company that bought them and all of us who lost our jobs because the company absorbed our positions. So then what?
Right, because honestly, they could be like, these certain people will lose their perks, and they'd be like, I'm going to walk. And the company might honestly say, okay, I got more than enough people. Like, anytime somebody goes in WWE and it's like, oh man, it's hurtful, and WWE honestly goes, I'm going to make somebody else just like you. I'll be fine.
I mean, sometimes they attempt and it don't work, but...
So, my last question about this, just to get everybody's opinion. What happens, if anything, to Vince and Dana White?
Nothing. I don't think.
Do you think...
Yeah, I think they both just honestly are in control of their spots with somebody above them having a little pokes on the side. No, I need you to do this. I don't care what else you do. Just do this. Oh, all right. I guess I got to fit it in.
Maybe so. I'm just thinking, what do you think more allegations will come out with Vince now?
I don't think they care. This company is the one that the producer who Terry Crews accused of sexually assaulting him. Same company. They don't give a shit.
Oh, God. Okay.
They don't care. I was reading that in the Wikipedia. After that happened, they rebranded themselves to Endeavor because they weren't always just Endeavor. So, there you go. Come on, you get in a bed with the people who are just as dirty as you.
Yeah.
So, I doubt it. I don't think they give a shit. I think if they cared, because I feel like that would have given some other people who may have bought the company pause. These allegations and then the lawsuits and having to deal with the fallout from that. But if you in the same boat, why would you care?
Yeah. Well, it's hard to argue any of those points.
I don't see, even if more allegations come out, I don't really think that they are concerned. Because if they were, they wouldn't. The sale wouldn't have went through.
Well, and they involving, them with money,
and they wouldn't have kept him on. That's the other part of it.
Yeah.
It's one thing for the sale to go through, but for him to be bought back in, and now he has an official title again. They don't care.
Also, if something insane happened, something overly crazy came out about one of these people, they ain't gonna do nothing but get rid of them and put somebody else in there. Keep
Absolutely.
pushing.
Yeah.
Because at this point, they don't own WWE. Don't call the shots no more. You're a minority owner at this point. Not like they can be like, oh no, we won't let that stand. They're like, that's nice. We see it. Shit. Don't let the door hit you where it splits you.
Facts.
This is more scary. The more I'm talking about, the more scary this joint is. I'm not even gonna hold you.
His daddy rolling over in his grave right now.
Well, I'm telling you, man, you open that catch, all you see his ass cheeks.
Absolutely, because you could have just, because even if he was going to sell, you could have left Steph or even Shane in a position of authority, and you chose to intentionally push the both of them out before this happened.
What's going this?
They gonna be rolling up on him when he do pass. They gonna be rolling up on him like that truck, the funeral on Truck Turner.
Yeah,
when he came in and spit on him.
Yeah, I think
They gonna have Scotty Too Hottie and Otis do the worm on his grave.
So the worm and the caterpillar, not both.
Oh, both. He said both. He said both. My God. Okay, so let's go on. Oh God. Okay, yeah, because we will know more as the story goes on. This just broke today. I figured because we still didn't do our podcast. This is our post WrestleMania weekend podcast, so we had to talk about it now. More details will be coming out this week, and more things will be more fleshed out that we will get to also. So